Should you ever discount your massage, or should you only charge full price and charge a lot? There's a lot of talk about charging a lot of money. Some massage therapists receive an astonishing amount for their massage services, and I'm sure they're very good, but there are also very good massage therapists who don't charge a lot of money. So where do you figure out how much to charge? And when do you discount? Or do you ever discount? I see a lot of massage therapists when they're first starting out thinking that doing super inexpensive massages would be a brilliant idea. And let me tell you, it's not the best way to grow your business. So we need to talk about my Groupon experience here in podcast episode 15. So in order to understand why I did a Groupon in the first place, you have to understand that, first of all, it was over 10 years ago. And Groupon had not yet rolled out in Cincinnati, where I lived. And the Groupon marketer called me. I just was at a weak moment where I was having a slightly slow week. It was like in January. And he asked me if I would be interested in doing a Groupon. I didn't know anything about it. So he explained a little bit about what it was and how you would discount it and so on and so forth. And he was willing to give me a higher percentage than was typical. So typically with a Groupon, you get 50%. I don't know if that's changed, but this was the case back 10, 12 years ago, however long ago it was. And so I agreed to do a Groupon. He said I might do as many as 80 to 100 hour-and-a-half massages. And I spoke with my husband. He's like, you're probably going to be lucky to get like 10 people or 5 people. And I was like, maybe I'll get like 30. That'll be fine because I'm usually a little slow in January and February, so no biggie. And I had signed up to go to acupuncture school, and that was supposed to start in March. And so that was just a couple of months later. And so I thought, if I sell these Groupons and I sell maybe 30, I can just kind of knock them all out before I go to acupuncture school. Well, that was not the case. So first of all, Groupon did not tell me that there was a turn-off button on the sales. And what happened was Groupon rolled out in Cincinnati a day or two before I started my Groupon sale. And then the Cincinnati Enquirer, which is the city's major newspaper here, ran an article about Groupon at the same time, the same day that my Groupon went live. So my offering was an hour-and-a-half massage. They had done a super deep discount because it was brand new in the city of $39. I know, I'm like embarrassed to say this. $39 for an hour-and-a-half massage, which was called a deluxe massage. The value was $100, and I added a foot scrub. So it was essentially a 75-minute massage plus a foot scrub. And I bought a whole bunch of towels, and I made some like organic foot scrubs, and my goal for doing this Groupon was to give my absolute best to every client that came in because I knew that they were a potential client moving forward. And that's what I did. But let's backtrack to the day my Groupon went live. I dropped my kids off at school and my husband was like, you're getting a lot of calls? I had forwarded my phone to my husband in case people had questions. He's like, you're getting a lot of calls. This is really weird. I was like, okay, whatever. So I dropped off my kids at school and he said, I think you need to go online and check. And by this time, the Groupon had been live for a couple of hours and I had already sold like 100. And I started freaking out because it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, long story short, I sold 492 hour-and-a-half massages. Let me say that again. 492 hour-and-a-half massages. Yeah, mic drop. So, I did the best that I could possibly do. The first thing I did was math, and I figured out how much time I could actually work and how much I could actually still teach my barefoot massage and sleep, and could I go to acupuncture school? So the first thing I did was call the acupuncture school and say, yeah, we need to push enrollment back 6 months because here's what happened. And they were totally fine with it. They rolled my deposit over and everything. So in the very beginning, I thought, oh, well, people are going to respect my hours. I am working 5 days a week. But then I got these crazy calls, and they would be like, my wife is about ready to have a baby. She's 39 and a half weeks pregnant. Can we do a pregnancy massage? And I was like, oh, okay. So I started making exceptions because I was trying to knock out these massages. And that was a bad idea. So that was mistake number one, was that I did not stick to my boundaries. Now, I think I worked 7 days a week for like 2 weeks in a row. And I thought, this is madness. This has to stop. And so I started accepting online appointments only, because at that time I had just kind of rolled into doing Bodywork Buddy, and that was my online scheduling system, but I wasn't super familiar with it. I think I rolled it out the same week I rolled out the Groupon, so I wasn't super familiar with it, so I was manually adding people in. So then I stopped doing that. So in my mind, I thought that I would have all these people, 492 people, spread out evenly over the course of the year. And it did not happen that way at all. So I had this huge influx in the beginning, and then not some for a very long time. And at the very end, a whole bunch trying to get in before their year was up. Now, luckily, I had received payment from Groupon, which is, I think, different than they do it now. So they gave me 50% up front when they first sold it, and then they gave me 50% of my payment 30 days later, so that I did receive all of the payment. My understanding is now you get paid as you redeem the appointments, but this was before we could scan things from our phones, so yay for that for me. So I did receive the payment for that. The problem with that is that I had this big pile of money paid to me up front, and so I knew that I shouldn't be spending it, but by the time August rolled around, I had already spent all the money. So between August and the following January, I felt like every time I did a Groupon massage that I was doing it for free, which of course was not the case at all. But here are some of the lessons that I learned from Groupon. And actually most of them are really good lessons, because it has helped me evolve into the business owner that I am today. Number one is boundaries with your hours and your time. So in your very beginning, or when you're desperate, a lot of times you will take in everybody whenever you want. You'll take in clients who aren't necessarily a good fit for you because you need the money. You will work hours that you shouldn't work. Like, why was I working on Sundays? I should have been spending time with my family on Sundays. Why was I working 7 days a week? I should not have been working 7 days a week. Especially as a massage therapist, you need a break or you're going to give some crappy massage. So number one, I got very good. Finally, after I don't know how many massages, after doing like 30 massages maybe, I finally got good at enforcing my boundaries, because I also didn't have time for my regular clients when I was accepting everyone. I had a bunch of clients who were still paying full price, and then all of these other people. Number two, I realized that the people who bought the Groupon were only searching for a deal. I gave every single person the legitimately best massage I could give them, because I felt like they were a potential client, and they were. But it took me a long time to figure out that these people were not looking for necessarily the best massage. Now they would say, oh my gosh, this is by far the best massage I've ever had. And then they would follow that up with, when's your next Groupon? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do another Groupon. By the way, that was a bad idea. So number one, I got much better with my boundaries and my time management. And number two, I realized that people who want a sale all the time are not my ideal clients. Number three, I recognize the importance of having rules and policies not related to boundaries. But these type of rules and policies are, for instance, on the Groupon, each person was only allowed to use a Groupon one time. And then I would have people who had bought like 3, and they'd say, well, I bought it for my mom, but she doesn't want it, so I'm coming back to use it. And I would say, no, you're not. Because the rules were very clear. They were clearly written on each individual coupon. I would show it to them on the coupon when they brought it in, because this was in the day where you actually had to bring it in. And I learned how to stand up for myself a lot better. And that's really important when it comes to running your own business, right? So I learned boundaries with time and working my hours and protecting my energy. I learned that people who are searching for a deal on the regular, they are not my ideal client, nor are they likely to become my ideal client. And number 3, I understood the importance of learning to say no. And as a massage therapist who's a people pleaser, this can be extremely difficult, right? Like, we want people to feel better. So it's really hard for us to say no. Like, I legitimately used to let people walk out my door without paying me because I didn't want to ask for money. And then I would email them later or call them and say, "Ooh, sorry, Bob. I forgot to collect money from you." I'm like, what is that? What is that? So in that way, Groupon was very good for me. Now, you might be wondering, did all 492 people redeem this? No, they didn't. But a lot of them sure tried at the very end. And it got to the point where in the last 3 weeks, my book was once again very, very full of Groupon clients when people were realizing they were going to waste their $39 for, again, an hour and a half massage. Why were they not there in the beginning? I don't know. What an incredible deal. So I actually extended it a few days to allow a few people to come in. Anybody who requested an appointment by the last day, which was my husband's birthday, it was January 28th. Anybody who requested an appointment by that day, I would allow to come in because I was trying to be fair and treat people the way I wanted to. But then I had people complain to Groupon and say, "She wouldn't let me get a massage, blah, 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 blah." And Groupon representatives actually called me multiple times saying, "These people are complaining that you're not letting them use their Groupon." And I'd say, they had a year to use it and they didn't use it. So that's not my fault. Like, I had bought Groupons before and had never redeemed them. I was not so presumptuous to think that a soak company, a float company, or a bungee jumping company would allow me to use the coupon after it had expired. That was my fault that I let it expire. So in that way, again, I learned to be very good with enforcing my boundaries and my policies. Now, I will say there is an exception to the rule that all of these clients who are looking for a cheap massage were not my ideal clients, because actually one of them is. And I'm still seeing this woman every single month ever since that day. So I did get one client. I got one client out of about 350 who redeemed. I got one returning client. So the one thing that I'd like to also give you as a message to take away is that it's okay for you to discount your massage if you feel like you need to. I don't think that it's a good idea to do it on a regular basis. I would rather give somebody a free massage because they have a health issue or a financial issue or something going on than I would to discount most of the time. I do discount my memberships because those people are loyal to me and they come in every single month, and that is their incentive, is that they have a discount. And I know that I'm going to be getting that money in every single month. I do have one client that I see every single week for 2 hours. For many years, I saw him twice a week for 2 hours. So yeah, I kept him grandfathered in at my previous rates. We were just talking about that today when he came in, as a matter of fact. And so he's grandfathered in. But these cases are few and far between. Everybody else pays full price. Nobody else comes to get a massage on my days where I'm off. I tell people I do not do massage on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. End of story. And they may not like it, but they adhere to the rules. I did have a student one time who came to my class. This was back in the days of, I used to teach bamboo fusion many years ago, probably for about 5 years maybe. And one of my students, who was a guy, was fantastic. He was a really, really good massage therapist. But you know that guys a lot of times have a harder time getting clients than women do, unfortunately, because he was very good. But his business model was to run Groupon. So he ran Groupons all the time. And I did buy a Groupon from him one time, and I tipped him more than the cost of the Groupon. And that is just not, that's just not the way to run your business. So always running a deep discount for your massage undervalues your capabilities, and it sets kind of a precedent for clients who really aren't going to appreciate you and your massage. So I don't recommend it. I don't recommend doing a Groupon. I don't think it's a good idea, unless you're just new starting out and you don't really have to worry about paying your bills. Now, I mean, $39 for an hour and a half massage, that's what they did for me. Originally, it was supposed to be $49, but they asked me to go down to $39. So I got like, I don't know, what did that work out to be, like $26 per massage, I think is what I got paid. $26 for an hour and a half massage. And I own my own building. So that's kind of ludicrous, really, if you come to think of it. So the good news is that I'm able to sit here and tell you the lessons that I learned from that, and I became a better business person because of that. So should you do a Groupon? I don't think so. Should you enforce your policies, your boundaries, stick-to-itiveness? Yes, you should. If your policies state that you need to prepay, make them prepay. If your policies state that you can't do no call, no shows without a penalty, or you can't cancel within 24 hours without a penalty, you need to stick up for yourself, because otherwise people will take advantage of you. And honestly, the only people who will take advantage of you are the people that you don't want as your clients anyway. So, and did I go to acupuncture school? I did not. I couldn't make it happen. I was going to go to school in Columbus, which is a 2-hour drive. And again, doing the math, I realized it just wasn't going to happen. So acupuncture was not in my future for me, but that's okay. This wraps it up. Podcast episode 15, about why a Groupon may not be the best deal for you, but how it made me a better business person. I look forward to talking to you next time, and until then, keep your massage momentum and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Leaving a review helps other massage therapists find the podcast too. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment and let me know what topics you'd like for me to cover in future episodes. Your feedback is as valuable to me as massage is to your clients. Take care, stay inspired, and keep embracing your massage momentum. We will catch you in the next episode.